This is Luke Paulson, the Catholic Conservative, and welcome to the news of the week for June 29th, 2024. And if you enjoy these videos, do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. A Louisiana Mandate. Before I get started on this, wait until the end of the video to hear my thoughts about the CNN debate. The state of Louisiana has instituted a new law that requires the poster of the Ten Commandments to be in every public school classroom. Naturally, the Anti-Christian Lawyers Union is very upset about this and wants to sue. Naturally, they are citing the separation of church and state. Ignorant, of course, that this does not appear anywhere in the Constitution but in a letter by Thomas Jefferson. In said letter, he emphasized that under the Constitution, the state could not do anything to control how they met. Skip forward to this century and we have pastors that have their sermons subpoenaed and churches being shut down. Clearly, the prohibiting the free exercise thereof clause no longer applies. However, the other part of the First Amendment dictates that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. This does not apply either, as no religion is being established. No one is forced to follow these rules at home or at school. Just posting them is not harming anyone, not even the good-for-nothing lawyers. However, I think the biggest problem is the fourth commandment. Third, if you are Catholic. This, going back to Exodus 20, says that God created the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested on the seventh. It is not good to have this posted if you have a teacher that believes in evolutionism and wants to indoctrinate the class with this nonsense. If the ACLU fails, they will not stop suing until they get it thrown out. If even that fails, other states will start picking up this statute. We need a revival in this country unlike Billy Graham could fathom. Most people are more concerned about who is going to be in the latest Marvel movie than their neighbors who are going to hell without repentance. Speaking of legal troubles, let me take you down to Texas. EV problems. Electric vehicles have a lot of problems. In addition to having to mine to get the lithium and still using the coal-powered grid, Pete Buttigieg is hiring based on DEI, and that is the reason why he is behind on his boss's goal on EV charging stations. I am not sure what DEI has to do with engineering, but I digress. Down here in Texas, like most places, the taxes on gas go to fund the roads that are never fixed.
Did I say that out loud?
Naturally, the people who are sharing this on social media are very upset that they are having to pay extra. Do not mention that the vehicles are heavier, resulting in more wear and tear on the roads. Just be upset that you have to pay more. Now, as a conservative libertarian, I believe that we should eliminate taxes as much as possible. However, the same people who are complaining about this just tell us to accept that things will be more expensive because of their green agenda. And things are more expensive because of their green agenda. However, we are supposed to make this financial sacrifice for the good of the planet. But these people are upset about paying a one-time fee of $200. Say it with me, this is all very
ironic.
However, let us talk about something that is a little more fun. Pop culture. Harry Potter TV series. J.K. Rowling may have severe TDS, but the fake news has turned on her very quickly. Ever since she started endorsing the science of biology, this was the last straw for them. Nevertheless, her franchise is getting rebooted into a series on HBO Max. Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry Potter, has said that he is not opposed to coming back and playing a cameo role in the series, even though he might have to work with Rowling. Recall a few months ago that I mentioned that he as well as Grant and Watson threw Rowling under the bus, where I said in part, they are betraying her because they must have failed 8th grade biology. While she does have some support, it is sad that these three more than anyone else would turn on her. If I ever see anything with one of these traitors, it will be too soon. Either way, for this to be done, unless Rowling has sold her soul to HBO, she will have a lot of creative control to make sure that this is done right. Disney is in hot water again. James O'Keefe with O'Keefe Media Group has done it again. While they are not revealing anything that is a major revelation, in fact they are revealing something that we already knew, a Disney executive has been caught on camera admitting that they refuse to hire anyone with a low melanin concentration, and especially those with Y chromosomes. They have released a lot of woke films lately, including Elemental and Strange World, both of which I refuse to subject myself to. As a general rule, these films are failing, and there have been a lot of layoffs. Now, a company that is acting on profits rather than being funded by special interest groups to put messages into their films would do an about-face. But not Disney. They doubled down on their woke agenda, even for their hiring. Not hiring someone or not promoting them just because of their chromosomes or skin shade is patently illegal. O'Keefe's video can be used as evidence. If you worked for Disney, granted I doubt anyone in that industry would watch my videos, you have a case to sue Disney for discrimination. Granted, even if you got the job as a result, the studio would make your life a living hell. Gina Carano may have a chance of winning, but she has major star power. Most everyone else does not. Either way, best of luck to all of you. But before we go on to some important news of what is going on in Russia, let us talk about the Hawk Tuah girl. The Hawk Tuah girl. She exists and the internet has gone crazy over what is probably a diversion.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Russia and North Korea team up. Two incredibly deplorable nations have teamed up. They have entered into a mutual defense treaty. This means that if anyone attacks either one of them, the other one is now at war, because that cannot possibly backfire on anyone. Now, if North Korea drops paratroopers from the sky and kidnaps civilians like another terrorist state,
Did I say that out loud?
and if South Korea retaliates, they will also have to deal with Russia. That is just what got us into World War II when you think about it. This is going to make things just as bad as it is in the West. It is no secret that both of these nations want to get back another chunk of land and the people thereof. It is only a matter of time before this is used as an excuse to get that land back. And because of Ukraine, we may be stuck in a war with North Korea. Let us go to another international conflict that has people even more divided. Coke is now a deadly weapon. One of my favorite things to do is troll the nuts on social media. I should not enjoy it. Some of them will listen and change their views. Others will not listen, and you have to at least try and reach their followers. That is what positive trolling does. There is a world of difference between pointing out that vegans kill animals that attack the soybean farms, or that Hamas could at any point return the hostages, and attacking someone's looks. Thus, positive trolling. Either way, the people of Palestine and their sheeple supporters in America are upset with Coke and a handful of other companies for being made in Israel, or for just working in Israel. Because when goods cross borders, weapons do not. Hamas is likening a bottle of Coke to a missile, much like the ones that they repeatedly launch from playgrounds. Therefore, by this twisted logic, drinking a bottle of Coke makes you responsible for Gaza. These people dig tunnels underneath homes to kill people and call themselves peaceful. It is best not to look for any logic in their arguments. However, let us move on from imaginary weapons to real weapons. Make no law. I have asked this question before, and I will ask it again. What part of make no law is so dreadfully unclear to these liberals? After all, we know that the Second Amendment saves lives. Ever since the Supreme Court ruled that bump stocks could not be banned, the mouthpieces in Operation Mockingbird have another talking point. Somehow, this is only going to result in killing children. I have an idea. What if these same guns were put in the hands of respectable veterans who know how to use them, and they guard the entrances of every school? And it does not matter what crazed lunatic comes through. He will be dead. That is because the Second Amendment saves lives. Of course, Justice Thomas is getting most of the flack. If it were Republicans criticizing Ketanji Brown Jackson, it would automatically be racist and probably sexist as well. I wonder why the same pattern does not apply. And now back to the First Amendment. YouTube fact-checking. One of the biggest changes that Elon Musk made to Twitter, and yes, I will continue to call it that, was the introduction of community notes. In essence, the community could call out the utter nonsense of liberal lunatics. Even Musk got a community note against him at least once. Now the same thing has been on YouTube for some time, but now the fake news has a new talking point about the video platform. That it is being used to disseminate right-wing talking points. And if you believe that,
I got some property in Arizona. From my front porch you can see the sea.
the fact that the platform censors videos about the Federal Reserve at the behest of Operation Mockingbird, and the adpocalypse could only mean that they are disseminating right-wing talking points. Again, it makes no sense. However, speaking of fact-checkers, let us look at Snopes. Snopes Catches Up. It is no secret that the fake news hates President Trump and will go out of their way to twist what he says to fit their agenda. It was not too long ago that we learned that only liberal talking heads are allowed to say bloodbath. That is because as soon as President Trump said the same phrase, it was Now Snopes has finally fact-checked the fake news about very fine people. Naturally, the Mockingbirds are not happy about that and are saying all sorts of mean things about their own. Snopes is about as unbiased as Wikipedia. This does not mean that they are going to start being truthful.
Why, even a broken clock is right 2 or 3 times a day.
Speaking of fact-checking, global warming is fake news. Chris Martz, a meteorology major, called out global warming alarmists. Global warming, something that will kill us all, even if the models never come to fruition. He called out the nonsense of some of the statistics. For example, he called out that temperatures have been recorded on the ground for over a century, going all the way back to 1895 and earlier. As such, because of this, we can plot the growth of the changes in temperature far earlier than the activists want to. He also pointed out that there is not a major increase in storms, but in our reporting thereof. There are more motorcyclists in hospitals with helmets than those without. Therefore, the helmet made them less safe. Or those without helmets just did not survive. Even the satellite data going back to 1980 shows no measurable increase in storms. Now that one of the biggest lies of the fake news has been debunked, again, let us move on to the debate between Sleepy Joe and President Trump. The rematch of the decade. I watched the debate, and the first thing that I noticed was that Brandon started slurring his words so much more as the debate went on. The drugs that his handlers put him on wore off pretty quickly. Even if that were not the case, Brandon started spouting out lie after lie faster than President Trump could debunk them. Highlights of this in no particular order include, but are in no way limited to, claiming that he brought inflation down when it actually rose from President Trump's last day, claiming that President Trump wanted people to inject bleach, claiming that fewer illegals are crossing than ever before, claiming that President Trump called soldiers suckers and losers even though this was debunked by 15 people that were there, claiming that there was an insurrection on January 6th, and claiming that President Trump said something in Charlottesville that he did not. A few other problems were, Brandon claimed that he wanted no restriction on abortion and would not call out the Virginia governor for killing a child after he was born. Brandon claimed that only people who support climate regulations care about the environment. Brandon claimed that billionaires pay nothing, and if they did, Social Security would be sustainable. And Brandon claimed that President Trump kept appealing 2020 as if his side did not spend all their time appealing 2016. Now, naturally, there is a lot more to say on this, and I might touch on this over the next week, but I try to keep these short. Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion. And do not forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe for more. But before you go, on the left I have last week's video, but you may also enjoy the video on the right.